Many people are excited to see Shanks with 2 arms and no scar. Yes, I'm talking about his twin brother cause mayhem on Elbaf as he's looking to be amplified through Imu's powers. The reason why I say that is how he arrived on Elbaf the same way as Saturn on Egghead Island, but this was foreshadowed when the Reverie, Shanks' twin, met with the Gorosei to talk about a certain pirate. We all thought it was Shanks. People were calling him a rat, a snitch. Well, yeah, those accusations seem to be wrong. And then of course Film Red with the whole Figarland, the Gorosei saying that Shanks is connected to the Figarland, and finally Dragon saying we move when the Holy Knights immobilize. So pretty much when the Holy Knights get sent to places, that's when they move. So even Dragon Revolutionaries are in this mess. But I think Oda is hyping up Garling more than his son, with Oda confirming he was strong on the fact that he's on God Valley proves that how strong he is, and maybe even alluding to Whitebeard being scarred by him, because we know when Shanks saw Whitebeard said, oh, I just get reminded of the scar I got from that face, that man. So it looks like someone that looks exactly like Shanks scarred Whitebeard, and that you would think would be Figarland Garling. But at the end of the day, Garling and his sons might be out of the equation when it comes to the final saga race that's been hyped up in chapter 1121. Yes, that's right. I could see a situation where a lot of the Figarland get taken out in Elbaf or around Elbaf, because the fact that Oda took out Saturn that easily, yeah, chess pieces are falling. Now the way Oda introduced Figarland Garling is by having him kill Don Quixote Moscard. The reason why this is so big is because, first of all, his name, Don Quixote Moscard. We know that the Don Quixote name is infamous for Doflamingo, who had a lot of power as a warlord. And we know that Don Quixote Doflamingo is a very controversial celestial dragon group because Doflamingo's father was very peaceful. Doflamingo's brother was also very peaceful, Corazon, who even told Law about the Willy D and the celestial dragon beef. And then we have Doflamingo, who's pretty much just the incarnate of evil, pure evil, like no morals, savage, doesn't care. Yes, everyone can change. It doesn't matter how evil someone is, everybody can change. But Doflamingo's evilness is to the next level. And even Don Quixote on Fishman Island, the way he came in there and Otahime changed his disgusting behavior, and now he was defending the fishmen, Shirahoshi, and all that during the Reverie. And that's the reason why he got killed, because Figarland Garling said, stand up for human scum and sink lower. He's punishing the unpunishable. And while he's getting introduced, there's even a narrative bubble or a square box that says he distinguished himself on God Valley. Like I mentioned, Oda already confirmed that Figarland Garling had to be strong because he's on God Valley, but the fact that he distinguished himself on there, he definitely was no scrub. He definitely was fighting. I don't think Figarland Garling got low diff just because Prime Garp, Prime Rocks, Prime Roger, Prime Whitebeard, Prime Shiki, Prime Big Mom. Yes, a lot of Prime characters. Even Saturn was up in there with his old ass. But no, I don't think he got low diff. And the fact that he distinguished himself, I think this is a really good thing for Figarland Garling stocks right now. You even see, like, when Oda is showing us, I think it was chapter 1095, Oda shows us Figarland Garling on God Valley. He looks kind of similar to Shanks, if I'm being completely honest. Just pretty much his hairstyle is different with that whole crescent moon hairstyle, which looks so dumb. But the fact that he still looks badass with it, kudos to him. But yeah, he pretty much kills the king before the competition starts that they're having on God Valley, where they're poaching humans. And that's how cocky he is. He gives me Rob Lucci vibes because he handicapped himself before the game began. And he says that's how he's going to make it competitive. Yes, he gives me Rob Lucci vibes. If I'm being completely honest, sometimes he gives me even Zoro vibes, like that cold behavior, that cold, savage behavior. The fact that this Zoro is just on our side, so we don't really feel it. But yeah, I think this guy could definitely be the official vice captain to Imu. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at that iconic panel, when you look at the world government side, Kobe is definitely going to be switching sides. He's not going to be with Emo. He's definitely too morals and, how do I say this, really wants to help the people to be on an evil side like Emu. But if Kobe's not going to be on Emu's side, even Akainu is shocked by the way the Celestial Dragons move CP0. So he might not be fully on Emu's side. He might work with Emu, but he might not be fully on Emu's side when it comes to ideology. But Figarland Garling seems to be the only character on that panel that's fully on Emu's side. Probably his son too as well, that's been silhouetted. But at the end of the day, I still believe that if you're going to give Emu a vice captain, you have to give it to him. And this might be controversial because the Gorosei should be Emu's vice captain. Well, Oda made him a Gorosei, so. And in this God Valley quick little flashback that we got during Egghead Island, he says, "Watch this, children." Now, a lot of people thought he was talking about the other holy knights, but he could be actually talking about his actual children. Shanks and his brother could have been on this island. We know Shanks was found in a treasure chest on God Valley by the Roger pirates. So for him to say watch his children, it's like he really prides himself on how good he is as a fighter. And honestly, it could be a situation where he alludes to his children again when we see him again in the current storyline. But I like how he said watch his children. Oda definitely dropping gems in the story when it comes to hints. And people forget to mention that Garp, the strongest marine of all time that I know of. Like, I don't know another marine that's stronger than Garp. Yeah, Sengoku with his Conqueror's Haki and his mythical zone is pretty powerful. He became Fleet Admiral. Yeah, Kainu, Oda said he can get the One Piece in 1 year. And he has the strongest offensive Devil Fruit. Yeah, that's cool and all. But is there a marine that surpasses Garp? People might say even Kong. But Kong is calling Garp panicking to help out the Celestial Dragon. So which other marine has surpassed Garp? Garp is the hero of the Marines, and he wasn't born a hero. He literally trained every single day on those battleship punching bags with no haki or no devil fruit. He's literally the definition of raw physical strength and power, going head to head with Roger so many times. And he says, don't they have protection? Don't they have plenty of security? That right there was interesting because there's Roxy Zebek, there's Prime Whitebeard, there's Prime Big Mom, there's Prime Shiki, Kaido's there, Captain John, Clarissa, Stussy, Ochoku, Silver Axe. There's a bunch of monsters on that Rox's crew, and Garp says they have plenty of security. Yeah, I guess Saturn was there, but I think he's talking about Garling. I think Garp right there might be respecting Garling's power. I would love to see a situation where Garp and Garling have interacted in the past. We know Garp hates the Celestial Dragons. He doesn't want to serve under them. That's why he doesn't want to become Admiral. Get if Garp actually ran into Figarland Garling and he called them scum and maybe Garp was trying to defend someone and Figarland Garling said don't get involved. I would love to see Garling and Garp fight because they're on the same side of the world government. And how to say this, we know that because of what he did on God Valley, Garp, they can't really say much to him, because they would have killed him a long time ago. But still, I think Garp and Garling have had a run-in with because of how their ideologies are completely different. Like, they're completely opposite in a sense, where Garp is very morally justice and he's really high on his morals, and how to say this, definitely wants to go different possibilities and routes when it comes to his morals. We know that Figarland Garling is locked into one future, one direct future, and he doesn't care about his morals. He's more logic. So I would love to see them battle in a sense, but that's just me as a fan. And when Roger pulled up, it's not just Garp's statement. When Roger pulls up, if you actually analyze that panel where Goldie Roger pulls up to God Valley with a prime Rayleigh, a prime Scopper Gabon. Might I add, Roger looks exactly like Ace, and maybe I'm tripping, but without his mustache, he looks like really like Ace. And we thought Prime Roger was when we saw him in the Odin flashback. No, this is the true Prime Roger in my opinion, because he's not sick in this moment. And when he pulls up, he wants his get back. And guess who tells pretty much the Marines, the sailors, to protect the Celestial Dragons and step back? Who says that? It's Figarland Garling. He leads the Holy Knights and says the Holy Knights will handle this. So we know for confirmation that it looks like Figarland Garling is going to confront Roger. We know Garp really wanted to confront Roger. He was running in there trying to confront Roger. But it looks like Figarland Garling confronts Roger. And Roger was known, Kaido said it, his haki transcended all. And that's why he became Pirate King. Well, Kaido really says that haki transcends all. And Goldie Roger did without a Devil Fruit. That's why he's the Pirate King. It's all about haki. Roger knows the Divine Departure, went up against a Prime Whitebeard. We've seen that with our own eyes. So Roger's incredibly powerful. If Garling could even, don't get low diffed at all, if he can take a Divine Departure like Odin did, he's automatically top tier. Because in my opinion, Odin is top tier. Now, if he can do more than take a Divine Departure, if he can actually make Roger struggle a little bit like how Whitebeard did, that changes everything. I really loved how Oda in the kind of the phase of the post arc phase or the pre-arc phase where we get in between arcs, in between Egghead Island and Elbaf, pretty much. Let me not beat around the bush. We see that Garling comes into the room of the Gorosei, and the Gorosei are shocked. Like Mars said, Mars literally said tread lightly. That Mars is a Conqueror's Haki coding mythical beast that we saw on Egghead Island. He definitely didn't support it. Luffy, Sanji, Bonnie, and Frankie had to do a team-up attack to take out Mars. And that's why he was sitting so patiently when the Gorosei got sent back by Joy Boy's Haki. He says tread lightly. Worker even says When Garling says it's orders by someone, like pretty much someone ordered him to go into that room, Workery said, "Who ordered you?" Workery's the first one to speak up. I feel like Workery after Egghead Island is the leader of the Gorosei. Luffy had Kankazaki coding and his gear 5th powers, and he still couldn't damage Workery. Like the only time Workery actually was damaged was by the Iron Giant, which I thought that was super cool, showing how strong the Iron Giant is, in my opinion. But yeah, we also have to look at the Iron Giant was actually demanded by Joe Boy to do it, so aka Luffy. But yeah, and then we see, of course, in the situation, Jupiter looks completely confused of even Garling being there, and like he's just like, what's going on? Like Jupiter's kind of like a dumbass in a sense. He's like the dumbass of the Gorosei. If you actually look back in the series, like he's always looks confused. Like he looks like a rookie Gorosei. And then Venus Drew is like, he realizes what's going on before everybody. Very calm, samurai-like character with the Sandai Kitetsu, the supreme grade version of it, the Kitetsu. I shouldn't say Sandai. It's Kitetsu, that's a supreme grade, in my opinion. I'm just assuming, but I think that after the Zoro confrontation. But yeah, that's the impact that Garling did just by walking in there. And Garling doesn't just walk in there and say, I got orders from a very high power. He also says that York is under his review and says that I'm the new defense of science. He pretty much took Saturn's spot, and Mars said, don't tell me. Like he kind of like panicked a little bit, like, wait, you're telling me? Like he kind of realized, oh wait, you're taking Saturn's spot? That means Saturn was killed. And he's like, how did that happen? And then of course Jupiter is sweating. That makes me think that Jupiter is like the newest Gorosei. There had to be a Gorosei before Jupiter that got taken out for some sort of reason. That'd be cool to add in the One Piece story, but I know that's still just a theory. Jupiter could still be from the Void Century like all the other Gorosei that I'm like, obviously it's not confirmed, but they look like immortal guys from Imu's powers. And then he's sweating, and Garling said, let's work together. The world's in turmoil. Pretty much 5-star elders. Let's be a team. And they look like they did not like what's going on here, because that means they are now being able to be killed. They were so high and mighty before, like, hey, don't talk to us, I kind of and everything. Now Imu's taking you guys out because you guys are failing as your job. Like, how do you go? Saturn and an admiral can't handle the job of Egghead Island to stop that Vegapunk message and Joy Boy's hockey. Imu is pissed off, and he believes in Garling more than the other Gorosei. That's what he's saying. He's saying, I believe in Garling more than the other Gorosei. If you guys have a problem with it, come talk to me. Pretty much Imu can kill all the Gorosei in 1 second if he wanted to, because he gave them the immortality. So Garling is now there. And in my opinion, Garling is the strongest Gorosei. Imu wouldn't just do that for no reason. Saturn is not like the weakest Gorosei in my opinion. Saturn was like maybe 4th. I had Workery, Venus Drew, Mars as my top 3. They just did really good. And then I had after that Saturn, and then lastly Jupiter. You guys can tell I'm not a big fan of Jupiter. But Garling, I think he's number 1. Even over Workery, which is crazy because Workery showed me so much amazing things. But yeah, I think Garling is number 1 because of the God Valley incident. And this panel right here would just showed everything you need to know. Now, in this same chapter that Garling becomes a Gorosei, Oda ends off the chapter with Dragon making a move finally. Finally, Dragon's making a move. It took Garling becoming a Gorosei and the Holy Knights now moving in Elbaf for Dragon to make a move. And I am excited to see what goes on here. Could this be alluding to Dragon not finding a Akainu on that last panel, but more so Garling? It would be Shanks' father versus Luffy's father in a battle. I think this would be really cool to see how powerful Dragon is, because Garling will probably remind him, like, wait, this is Garp's son, like, and he's this powerful. It would be cool to see. I think Dragon is so strong. I think Dragon is one of the strongest characters in the stories. People are not really buying it because he has done nothing, like jack shit. But I do think Dragon is incredibly powerful. So I would love to see Dragon and Garling fight. Now, I don't have crazy evidence, but I think him being at the last page of the same chapter, Garling gets introduced to Gorosei, is a little bit of evidence in my opinion. But for some reason, I feel like this is the Figarland downfall, as you see in the title. I think that Garling will lose in Elbaf. I think Oda's not playing around when it comes to the end of One Piece. I think he's really gonna like eliminate characters. Like he saw what he did with Kaido and Big Mom. We saw what he did with Saturn on Egghead Island. We saw what he did with Garp and Law and Kid on Egghead Island as well. Like, he is not playing. Even Cobra got killed. So for some reason, I feel like Garling might actually be done after Elbaf. I think Oda, for some reason, I feel like he might hype up Garling as a really immediate threat for Elbaf. Give Elbaf a villain like that. And we might not just lose Garling. We might lose Shanks as well in the battle with Blackbeard. And we might lose his twin as well right before Garling arrives. It could be a situation where all the Figarlands just fall, regardless if we like them or not when it comes to Shanks. The Elbaf arc, it could be crazy. Now, I think, how do you hype up Garling as a villain if you're going to take him out in the same arc? I think Big Mom is the great jobber that she's already been. But if Garling fights Big Mom and defeats Big Mom, like, if she comes back and then Garling beats her, that would be crazy as well. Like, it would show how much of a threat Garling is to the Giants and the Straw Hat Pirates as well, because they know Big Mom since Whole Cake Island and Wano has been causing havoc for them. Now, I do gotta say this, it would make him a serious threat, but I feel like Luffy has to fight Garling, because Oda has this trend of giving crazy villains powers and then making Luffy fight them. Like, no other character but Luffy has to fight them. I think if Luffy fights him how he fought Kizaru and Saturn on Egghead Island, and if Luffy has struggles in Elbaf before he goes into against Blackbeard, Akainu, and of course, if who's above Garling, it would have to be Immu. That would be really good as a fan of the story of One Piece. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole downfall of the Figarland. Yeah, I'm not surprised if all of them fall, but I think that Garling has the biggest peak when it comes to the Figarland. I think Shanks is the strongest of the Figarland, but I think Garling with Immu's powers makes him a serious threat to Luffy in a sense. Shanks is with his haki, and the twin, I think he's pretty powerful too as well, but he has 2 arms and he doesn't have a scar. But I think the twin could be not. Garling could be stronger than the twin. Oda has a trend of making the son sometimes stronger than the father. Like, I think like the Vince Smoke Judge wasn't that strong, but I think Garling is different. Something's different about him. The fact he's a Gorosei, I think Immu really respects him, and he distinguished himself on God Valley. But enough of this yapping, guys, and I might do a live stream. You might see a live stream on the channel. If you're watching this right now, you might see a live stream. Check it out, guys, if you guys want me to discuss more Elbaf things. I might have a guest too as well, so yeah.